Hello, everybody out there in Poetry World. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are Verses and Vibes, and we have some great poets here tonight. We're going to start off by introducing the poets and going over their bios, and they're going to bless our mics. Romaine, you're up first. Romaine Washington is the author of the poetry collection Purgy Has an Address, nominated for a Push Cart Prize and Sirens in Her Belly. She presented her poetry in community and national verses, including Inside Social, CBS, KCSL9, NPR, KPFK, and the National Poetry Slam. She is currently the Poetry Out Loud coordinator for San Bernardino County. Washington has been an educator for more than 20 years and considers all forms of writing and reading to be a source of learning, healing, and growth. Her website is romainewashington.com. Check her out. Romaine, tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you have going on in the poetry community, any upcoming events, your social media handles, and then bless our mic.
Well, thank you. You've already mentioned Poetry Out Loud. There's another group that I've been involved with called Bridges That Carried Us Over. And as I was writing everything down, I realized I'm really into generational connections. And so Bridges That Carried Us Over are the stories of people from San Bernardino way back in the day when it used to be an all-American city. And we get to tell their stories. And so in February, I will be reading some poetry along with a professor that's been taking the oral history of these people that are in their 80s and 90s and how they came from the South and from the East Coast to make it in California. So I'm doing that. I am also editing a Black anthology for a Black Landia, which will come out in Juneteenth. I know I'm doing some other stuff and I didn't write it down, so I don't remember. So you want me to share something? Or?
Yes, bless our mic.
Oh, bless the mic. Okay. I just talked about, okay, this is a childhood, this is from Purgatory Has an Address. And this is a childhood experience I had, and I'll just dive right into it. And I'm looking for it in the book. I'm sorry. Give me just a second. Incident in Blue, Rare Boombox. There we go. So this is a narrative poem. 1. Leroy and them got clean, wild laughs like air full of jokes and Afro pics. I never hear they mama tell them be safe, come home, but no she do. They're a little older than me, don't really know them, but feel like I do, like the bus be a 200-year-old boat we've been riding too long. I lean my head full of tired sun against the window. Bus stop, door belches open, Leroy and them loud talking, thud walking, claim territory in the back of the bus. Boom box blasting, wave your hands in the air. Feel like there's no air in here. But Leroy laughed like cool grass and green trees. Hey, driver, why we ain't got no air in here? Black Mac, our regular driver, would have made a joke like he be part of we be fam. Leroy would lean back, put headphones on, bop, quiet smile, satisfied. 2, Hank is white shirt, small frame, looking like sweat, don't know his name. Type of man who might chuckle, but never heave a full laugh. If he did, you might think he was passing gas. Wasn't one of us in talk, skin, deed, or thought. Never had to strategize to get what he want. He rear viewing Leroy without a clue of what to say or do. You need to hold that noise down. You're disturbing the other passengers. Leroy laughs a little too loud and long. Hank's face is beat, but he don't call for backup, does not back up, stands his ground. He parks, white pants, walks stern to the back of the bus, orders Leroy and them kill the sound or get off. Leroy and them look like they murdered just for fun. Who you think you talking to, little man? I paid like everybody else. Go on up and drive. No one saying nothing. I face forward. Quick shuffle. Leroy and them jump off the bus. Afro picks bobbing in the air. Boombox clutched to chest. Bass beating fear and feet. They fly into invisible. I want to say, Leroy, this ain't what it means to be a man. But that moment be gone. I stare at flies hovering over stabbed beads of blood.
Thank you so much for that reading. That was great.
Come
Thank
on, Leroy and them.
you, Leroy.
I felt like I was right there.
Yes. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Your pitch and everything was great. Just imagining you sitting at a reading and all the crowd is engaged and everything. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Up next, to bless our mic, is a lolly possibility. She believes in the limitless potential of creation through emotion. She continuously explores the depth of the emotional range and shares her experience with navigating the polar extremes of life through poetry and media art forms. She is a dreamer and a free spirit. So when she's not out frolicking in the woods or staring at the stars, she can be found performing at various local events in the Hampton Roads area in Virginia. Lolly's purpose in life is to use her poetry and art to empower and guide other burdened souls through the healing journey as they awaken their true hearts and purpose. That's beautiful. So, Lolly, tell us what you have going on, any upcoming events, any performances, share your social media, and then bless our mic.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. And I just want to thank you, Miss Drea and Ebb and Flow, for having me on today. I'm so excited to be a part of your show. So my name is Lolly Possibility. I live in the Hampton Roads area in Virginia. You can find me at local mics around the area, but I also have an event coming up this Saturday with Utopia Fenny and Norfolk Zine, and we are going to do an art show that's a zine event. We're going to have some poets and some DJs as well, and I'll be performing there. So I'm really excited for that event. And then I also am working on a book, and I hope to have it out fairly soon. We'll see. It's a process. But I'm really looking forward to getting that out there. And then I'm also going to be doing some events in April and May as well. And I'm working on getting other things on the calendar. On all of social media, you can find me as lolly.possibility. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. And I would love for you guys to follow me, like, share, check out my stuff, and, just enjoy what I have to offer. Hopefully, it can touch you, speak to you, and guide you through your journey. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read. This is actually one of the first official poems I ever wrote, and it is called Good Enough. When will I feel good enough? I know I rarely feel good enough. What even is good enough? That bar we can never reach? An impossible standard we set to inhibit ourselves that society sets? No, you. But you are society. Argue that you're not? But whenever it's time to stand up, it's not your battle to be fought. And you excuse yourself because you are not good enough. You say you'll fight when you're good enough, but you can't fight now because you're too busy fighting to be good enough. But you aren't fighting, you are giving up, resigning yourself to good enough because it asks nothing of you, and that feels good enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that piece. I really enjoyed the piece that you sent and shared on social media today. It was very lively and it showed your personality, and I really, really, really appreciate that. I think that your story and what you're doing will help a lot of people in the poetry world, especially like what you're reaching to accomplish. Thank you so much for that piece.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Up next to the mic, we have Fly High. So, Fly High, let me get her bio together. Fly High is a first generation Jamaican American writer and poet based in Los Angeles, California. Her passion for writing began early in childhood and continued through her studies at Prairie View A&M University and in her walk as a former high school teacher. Okay, I just learned something new. I did not know that. You keeping secrets. Okay. Miss Fly's poetic influences and inspirations include names such as Audre Lorde, Dubai Young, Anita Franka, Lucille Clifton, and Striceland Chin. Similarly, her work speaks to her journey into womanhood, encompassing themes such as childhood trauma, healing, and liberation. She hopes to provoke thought and lead others to take an inspired action directed towards becoming the best version of themselves via self awareness, discovery, and daily consciousness practices. She is currently working on her first collection of poetry called Metamorphosis, set to release in 2023. To keep up with her, follow her on Instagram at Fly High 2Ys. Fly High, I'm so happy to have you here with us and can't wait for your book to come out. I will be there. Just let me know when the date is. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, what you have going on in the poetry community, any upcoming events, more about your upcoming books, and then bless our mic.
Well, peace, y'all. I want to say first of all, thank you for having me. And I kind of feel like my bio kind of, touched on it all. I am working on my first collection of poetry. My book release is going to be this year, so y'all can follow me here on Instagram to check out like more updates and what's going on with me. And also, like I said, this is my Instagram handle, so y'all can check me out there. And I perform, sporadically. So just, check there and see what's going on with me. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my first poem, and it's called Little One. I write for the young ones who feel they are too broken to get better, to heal. The world has taught us catchy, cliche phrases to make us think that only sticks and stones could break our bones, but that words could never hurt us. No one told us how much they would, how the words we have heard would entangle themselves into our thoughts so deeply that we couldn't differentiate between what is truth and what sticky insecurities they were flinging onto us. No one taught us what those kinds of words could do or how those words were often insecurities of others and not for us to hold on to. No one told us those same words would become our inner voice, our inner bully, waiting to kick us when we were already down, almost too low to feel like we could get back up again. No one taught us about how our own minds would attack us from all sides after believing those misguided truths for so long. No one told us how to get back up again when these words, sticky insecurities, and our own twisted internalization of them would try to rip us to shreds. Little one, the world's words tried to swallow you up, tried to downplay your greatness, tried to rip it from your hands, from your pen. They tried to stop you from doing what you're best at. And baby, they tried me too. But I'm here to tell you that words can be used to hurt or to heal, and I choose to use my superpowers for good, to heal that little one inside of me and maybe even the little one inside of you. And it is through word that I will change my little corner of the world. Thank you.
That was so beautiful and much needed. Thank you so much for that piece. Beautiful and heartfelt. Thank you so much. Up next to bless our mic is the beautiful Brenda Vaca. I just want to share a quick story. I had the opportunity to be featured on her Friday, this year, her first one, and she has always been so welcoming and so sweet. Whenever I'm in her presence, she's such a great person. I'm going to read a little of her bio. I just wanted to share my personal experience, with interacting with her and they always sing her praises at Sims Library of Poetry and how much they miss her there. So Brenda Vaca is a Chicana poet, author, and independent publisher. Um, this is really long, Brenda.
I have a really mini one, but I was like, let me just go for it. You could read the first little 2 sentences.
Independent publisher. I want to pick some great points here that I didn't know. So she earned her BA in English at UC Berkeley with the minor in creative writing. Later, she went to graduate school in Berkeley, earning a master's degree. Okay, Brenda, keeping secrets too. I didn't know that either. Congratulations. Later, she went on to graduate school in Berkeley. She earned her master's degree. She has a master's of arts in biblical languages. Okay, from the Pacific School region and graduated. She served as an ordained elder.
Secret.
Brenda. This is poetry and writing have been a lifelong passions where her work has appeared in Los Angeles Poet Society Press. I love them. Yeah. They're very welcoming as well. Sims Library of Poetry. Okay. Gothic Poetry Night 1 and 2. She's also the founder of Riot of Roses. I have your book, and I love it.
Thank you.
I should have brought it to put it on the screen. Do you have it with you?
I do.
Let's show everybody your book.
I have my beat up copy. It's been making its rounds.
Yeah, that means you've been reading it.
Been reading it.
Yes, her at I am Brenda Vaca on Instagram. Her first children books, Buttons Finds Him, Mojo, is forthcoming spring 2023. You can follow that adventure on Oh My Gatosh Books. So OHMYGATOSBOOKS. So make sure you follow her and support her book as it's coming out, and I can't wait either. So Brenda, tell us more about yourself, what you have going on, what's coming up, and then share with us what your children's book is going to be about, because I'm very interested, because as you know, I'm writing one as well.
That's right. Yes. Drea, thank you so much for inviting me, for creating this beautiful space. Always love following you and being inspired by words that you share on social media, and loved having you on Friday Fire last week. So a little bit about me. I do host a weekly Instagram live show every Friday, and it's varying hours. At least up until this point, I've been doing that since February. So poets of the world out there, certainly beautiful guests here tonight. Feel free to reach out. Don't be shy. Let's get you booked for this year. I would love to be in conversation with you. Friday Fire. From that was birthed a residency in my hometown of Whittier. So I host an open mic that also has features every third Friday of the month. We call it the Post Up. It's hosted at Casa Verde LA, Uptown Plants in Whittier. It's not a bookshop. It is a plant shop. Sells crystals, sage, palo santo, all kinds of beautiful, artisan stuff made by community members. So come and join us 7:00 every third Friday. So it's happening tomorrow in the city of Whittier, Uptown Whittier. If you're anywhere near LA, Orange County, Southeast LA County, I do broadcast that on Instagram as well. So, and I'm hoping, I'm so inspired by what you're doing, Dre. I'm hoping we can do something like this, make it more accessible on more platforms, because I'd love to have more guests, in different places. So that's a little bit about me. I did publish my book, Riot of Roses, last December. So it's a little bit over a year old. And I've been just all over town, trying to promote and share, because it was a long journey. This is my first book after dreaming of doing it forever. And it took a pandemic to really, and the CLI community to make it happen. So that's a little bit about that book. I am working on a children's book. It is written. It is partially illustrated. I'm days away from launching a Kickstarter campaign, which is a crowdfunding to fund the full production of that book. So you'll be hearing about that if you follow I Am Brenda Vaca on IG, or Oh My Gatos Books. Gatos means cat. And yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. It's about a black cat. Black cats are notoriously thought of negatively. They're often the ones that are not adopted. We even have colorism in the animal world. It's bananas. So I thought it would be meaningful for young children to explore that, learn about that. Dr. Seuss, if Dr. Seuss can put in politics, so can the rest of us in our children's literature. So it's the first in a series, and I hope to make it very accessible and reflective of our colorful community in Los Angeles, and raise a little bit of awareness about community cats all in the same breath. So much going on in the writerly world. So because I am long-winded, because I used to be a preacher, I will read you a short poem, which I don't usually write short poems. This is called The Unearthing. The unearthing is painful. The unearthing is deep. The unearthing is harder than you think. Over time, I had sunk. At first, a defense mechanism to keep me safe, or seemingly so, but then it became my greatest woe. To hide, to shrink, to dream big, and then do nothing. But I am something, and I am someone. There is a rising sun in me. My own diosa shakes awake. She flutters her wings and she throws down her stake. She says, this is your life to live. You cannot just keep wandering. It's time to come clean. It's time to unearth this poetic dream. Poem.
Yes, unearth this poetic dream.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Thank you so much for that piece. Last but not least, we have Jody Summers. Is a self-taught spoken word artist, poet, author, activist, illustrator, motivational speaker, event coordinator, chef, elected officer, elected official, business owner, and content creator. What don't you do?
I haven't figured that out yet.
He is the author of Tears of the Wounded series and several other unpublished book series. Creator of Ink Truth, Dreambox owner. Yours is pretty long too, so I'm going to go through it. National Spoken Word Awards Best Author nominee, feature artist for the 2021-2022 Festival and Art Walk. Okay. He was also featured in the 2020 anthology Black Lives, published by Joni McLinter magazine Gloss Coffin Press. Number 2, January-February edition 2022. So tell us more about what you do, your books that's unpublished, and I'm also a chef. So what kind of foods do you enjoy cooking? Do you cook for yourself? Do you have your own business? If you have any upcoming events, and then bless our mic.
So I normally open with hello, everyone. My name is Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. All that stuff. I also am a filmmaker in films. This book here is my 10th publication. Last year I did 5 anthologies while publishing this one and 3 others. I don't know. I haven't found out what I don't like yet. I'm getting ready to produce my first spoken word album. I have events every weekend until May currently. I do a lot. I have a flag raising coming February 1st for Black History Month at our government building here. I don't know. The more and more I explain my bio, the longer and longer it gets. But me in a nutshell is kind of, you can Google me. I'm also a travel guide for Google. So where I go, my camera goes, my photos go. This is my artwork in the background. Maybe one of the other rounds, it does something very different, which they got to see earlier. It actually dances under LED light. The clothing is an expression from the art that came from the words, and the cooking part, yes, I am a licensed chef. I do own a company called Toledo's Mud Sauce. But, you know, the invisible virus that took everything away kind of put halts on that plan. And I kind of focus more on my art, publishing more books, performing. I do about 350 shows a year. So it's fun to be me, I guess you could say. I've loved hearing all of you. I feel very special because I'm the only guy in the room. But yeah, I think that's a long enough intro. If you want to find me online, I have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I don't do short content. I'm getting into it because I kind of get paid for it, but I prefer long content because I'm a storyteller. So this first piece that I'll be doing, I think we'll go with that. It's 2023. A lot of people need healing, unpacking bags. That's what the childhood trauma series, the butterfly and stuff became. So let's do this piece called Toxic. Are you guys ready? I think you guys are muted. Okay, so I can see you nod your heads. All right, so Toxic. Let's begin. Peace. I think I was made backwards. Yes, I think I was made backwards. Or at the very least, yes, the very least, color opposite. Because your red flags might look like green flags to me, and my green flags always cause people to run. There's always someone trying to tell another person to stop playing the victim as they watch them bleeding, yes, bleeding out on the ground, dying from an injury that they did not cause themselves. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's okay, you'll be fine. No, stop. Toughen up. No one wants to see your tears. I can't visibly see, yes, I can't visibly see what's hurting you, so I don't believe it's real. So you learn to talk less and internalize your fears. You stop telling people, yes, telling people the problems that hurt you in hopes that no one, yes, no one will notice you crumbling from inside. You start focusing on the material things that you can't take with you. Because every time, yes, every time you try and take someone on this journey with you, they find out your worst is, yes, they find out your worst is and just as quickly disappear. You become outcast in circles that you once loved, and spaces, yes, spaces for healing are no longer willing to catch your tears. So you withdraw until an emotionally compacted place in your mind where if you don't talk about it, yeah, if you don't talk about it, it's not real. You get angry quickly and lash out when someone touches you emotionally because all you want, yes, all you want is to be held. But there's always someone punching and pushing past your stop signs and triggers, telling you, yes, you, how you are supposed to heal. You latch on to people who you know, yes, you know you should not attach to, but their red flags might look like green flags to you when you only want to be healed. And all you see is them vigorously waving messages of lessons you should have learned the last time you were here. So you isolate yourself and only do, yes, only do the things that bring you to the brink of your emotions, because now that's the only way, yes, that's the only way you know how to feel, crying in between the moments of desperation, because it's the only sound silent enough for anyone, yes, anyone, to actually know that you care without getting angry at you for being too loud and too aggressive about pieces of you that are no longer there. You hug too tightly. You talk too long. You're too silent at times, and you remove, yes, you remove yourself from the world because you don't believe anyone cares. You look at all those flags, and whether they be red or green, you inspect, yes, you inspect the unchecked boxes you haven't talked about in years, and you say to yourself, it's far better than gray. Yes, it's far better than gray. Hoping that this time, this person, this situation will just listen, yes, listen and stop playing with your triggers like there's some type of video game trying to reach the high score, leaving their initials on the leaderboard saying, look, I was here. You just want to tell people, my trust, just my trust is so up. But I appreciate that you are here. And I am trying, yes, trying for the moment. But this might take some years because I believe I was born backwards. Or at the very least, yes, the very least, color opposite. Because your red flags might look like green flags to me, and my green flags could cause you to run away in peace.
Yes, thank you so much for that piece. That was deep.
Sorry they're long.
Thank you.
Come on, red flags and green flags.
Yeah.
What? I see you. I see you, brother.
Thank you. Let's welcome Celine. Celine is Celine Pendergrass, known on Instagram as CP Writes, aka the Vulnerable Poet, is a Jamaican self-published author and the host of her Tuesday night live show, Vulnerable Vibes Open Mic. CP Writes, please go in depth of what you do. Make sure you share your upcoming events, what you have going on, any open mics, any books, and then bless our mic with the poem.
Okay, so I'm a poet. I've been writing for like 12 years now, probably. I have two books that I self-published, a chapbook called A Heart of Love and a poetry collection, Expressions to an Unborn Child, which is mostly dedicated to anyone who has lost a child. So Vulnerable Vibes Open Mic is a Tuesday night show that we start at like 9. It caters to all sorts of vulnerability. So we invite everyone to just come in and whatever topic you feel the most vulnerable on, that's the show to kick it. Cool. So I didn't prepare a piece. So while I was listening, I was just drawing out my pieces. And I'm gonna start off with one of my newest pieces called If Love Was Like Water. I knew of a man who became intimate with a woman whose heart was like the undercurrent moving in the opposite direction, constantly drifting away from his grasp. The point of this poem will be that love is just like water, unable to hold in one's palms, but is eagerly waiting to drift you in or away from love's path, or even drown you. a reminder that nothing lasts, especially when it contains atoms that come in the tiniest forms. Observe, please, how it slips through closed fists, leaking longingly, leaving hands lonely. But let us first assume we could hold on to love. Then the story I'm about to tell would have gone something like this: that there was a man I knew who became struck by a woman's beauty to the point where she took his breath away, and where the glistening stars shone brighter in her eyes than they did in the sky at night, she was worth holding on to, unlike the fallen stars that dies within a blink of the night. Even when she was drowning in her emotions, she was worth every fight with currents that pushed her away, because he would have died if she couldn't even have stayed alive for him. In this way, he loved her even until death. But isn't it true that in death, we still hold on to love? Because when a loved one dies, they take with them pieces of us, and as they transition, so do our hearts. It was for this reason he held on, but still praying that she could transform into human. Yes, he became a waterbender for love, even hoping he was God, the creator of a woman he would profoundly love, aiming to shape shift her heart the way water shapes shifts in form, causing it to be beautiful and brutal all in one go. But still, assuming love was like water, then the waves would have washed her ashore, even cascading her to meet his soul. But the truth is, he was emptying himself only to meet hers, holding out his hand, even if it means holding her shadow. I knew of a man who became intimate with a woman whose heart was reckless, which increased his reluctance to save her, and how it killed him that she preferred to drift off into the distance in the arms of the ocean than in his, moving into the opposite direction from where he stands, leaving him to rotten away on the island he constructed with creepy, eerie memories of how he killed the love of his life, causing her to now live among bones of other lovers he had. This woman became intimate with a man whose eyes glistened in brown, bright and beautiful, with stories told of lasting love that surrounded the ocean, but of hearts that are brought together by currents, keeping them above the surface, never drifting away from their grasp. For this reason, love is like water, unable to hold on to, but eagerly waiting to drift, even drown from love's path. That's a
That,
piece.
that was so beautiful. I love a good love poem. Water bender for love, shape shifting, and then
Thank
the
you.
twist that he killed her. Okay, I see you, Helen. I see you. That was beautiful. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
that piece.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we're gonna go back around to Romaine. The mic is back on you. Bless our mic again.
All right. Thank you. Gosh, you guys are taking me to a whole nother space. Everybody. You talk about vulnerability. Dang, you put so much in my head. Water bending. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about my nana. And this is called The Smoke of Patchouli. Nana Romaine and I relax in a patchouli incense thread of smoke, floating through our strands of hair, braided with fingers and time. With Nana, there is always time. A 2-mile afternoon stroll to Barbara Ann's sunshine-colored bakery, coming home warm like oven, heavy with sleep. Nap wakes to front porch, Evenings aproned by the silk scent of yellow and pink rose bushes. In the cool, almost dew, we snap green beans, staccato pops and pots. In the kitchen, steam rises from giddy water. Nana's house is cooking late night pancakes, fried chicken and mashed potato mornings, sugar dipped dried oranges and pickled watermelon rinds. Nana and I eat what we want when we want. Hours and days melt into obsession as we unbox time in 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, memorizing edges, intricate rose gardens, blue and white and blue and white and blue and white sky pieces that almost fit but not quite. A collage of thimbles, Dolly's melting clocks dissolving into a stream where memory stretches time, weaves itself in and out of synapses through decades, as though Nana was there when I was born, pouring soft questions into my eyes. So it doesn't quite go with, the vulnerability, but that's my Nana. That's my love.
Grandmas are the best. Nana
Yes.
poems and grandmother poems are always so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that piece with us. It just fills my heart. Next up to the mic again, we have Fly High. Bless her mic.
I just want to say, Romaine, that was so beautiful. I really liked how you like the imagery in all your pieces so far, like top tier. When you were talking about braided in, like the smoke was threaded in, and girl, what? Amazing. So my next piece is called Seeds of Division. Shout out to my other Jamaican sister out there. The aggressive, scorching summer sun beat irresistible steel drum songs on the backs of our melanated necks. We roamed Mama's house, searching for a place of refuge from our aggressor, the veranda our savior. As we sipped sweet lemonade, her voice raised, our intense attention turned to Auntie's conversation. Becoming transparent, she reached into her box of seeds, searching through life's lessons, doling them out to anyone who would listen. Unfortunate as she was, trauma and insecurities were never far behind, finding a way to seep in and latching on to anyone who listened. Our presence encouraged her appetite. She welcomed us into her exchange. My cousins and I huddled around the table, eyes wide, hungry for more. Gal pick me. Him did treat me bad, beat me and thief all my money. Me tell myself never again is me one pick up myself and get out of that the situation. Her eyes narrowed, her voice more serious now. The story became less about retelling, more about the lesson. Engulfed, we all hung on to every word. Don't trust no man. You one must get it on your own. And if you're lucky and find one little husband, no matter who have the job or who a work, you must always take care of you. She continued, knowing we were sprouted seeds, ready to be planted in fertile soil, young and ripe, ensuring the seeds she was sowing would grow. Make sure you must have one account separate from your man. Now make nobody know you have it. If anyone find out, they're gonna try to thief it from you and make you a slave for their own desire. It's your life, and you one must make it what you want. She became sun. My young cousins and I, sunflowers. We looked to her for light, to be the nourishment we needed to survive. You understand what me I say? Make sure. It's not joke me a joke, we don't know. The words of the scorned, bitter woman remained, found residency in the earth of my heart, a seed that grew in all of us. And as women desiring to bloom, we realize we are gardeners, charged with toiling our own soil, challenged to uproot the weeds that attempted to choke our ability to flourish with our men. As sunflowers, it is our assignment to stand tall and remain resistant to the self-fulfilling prophecies that have tried to stunt our growth our entire lives. It's time. will let go.
Beautiful. Beautiful piece. I love how you presented the poem. I love how you delivered it. I loved all the imagery. I love the two voices. That was just so, so beautiful. Thank you so much for that piece. Up next,
Miss Making Restaurant.
yeah. Next up to bless our mic is Lolly. Lolly, give us another poem.
Thank you. And just all of your poems are so beautiful. I'm just so happy to be here with all of you. And so, this next poem, speaking of vulnerabilities, definitely comes from a place of vulnerability, as many of my poems do, and I'm sure many of yours. So, this one is every Tuesday, I release a new poem on social media, which I said is lolly.possibility. And so, this one's a sneak peek. It's going to be coming out in just a couple weeks. And it's called The Beauty in Pain. The urge to cry about nothing always comes around. You try, but the tears won't flow. Pain. She doesn't want to be found. So instead, she leaves you confused, lying broken on the ground. But without rain, there'd be no rainbows. At least that's how the story goes. But the one thing nobody knows is what time the sun finally shows. When you're in the middle of the storm, faith and hope are hard to find. It's not easy to believe with tornadoes tearing through your mind. And then something finally snaps the bind, tears down the dam that kept you numb, and the waves of truth begin to come. Pain reveals where she's truly from. It feels like you're going to drown because you must feel the full weight of something before you can set it down. We want to live a life free from pain, but avoiding her is what keeps you insane with a million scenarios cycling through your brain. But if we let her in, oh, the lessons you will gain. You can have a life that's beautiful and vast. And yeah, beauty fades because nothing good or bad ever lasts. That's the beauty in pain, that all things are meant to pass. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you so much for that piece.
I
Yeah.
just gotta say that line about like you never know of like the weight of something. I forget exactly how you worded it.
You have
That
to feel the full weight of something before you can set it down.
come
Beautiful.
on, mic drop right there. Like,
Yes, thank you so much for that piece.
Thank you.
Before we move on to our next poet, I want to share a piece real quick. It's called Scared Heart. The sun shined down on her face as she opened the curtain on the left side of the bedroom. Her eyes adjusted slightly to the sunlight. This starts the journey of her new life as she embarks on what's ahead and leaves the past in the wind blowing to the north of her shadow. Looking forward to her future plans, she walks out the front door. The wind kissed her shining face while the rain washed the tears away. She looked up to the sky, closed her eyes, and prayed, thanking the Most High for her safe, caring space that she created to hold peace. She decided to walk in faith, starting her morning ritual each day, writing out her life plan. With each stroke of her pen, she encrypted each word that manifested her new life. She dropped to her knees, realizing she escaped a life that was tragic. Her heart skipped a beat. It felt heavy until pressure escaped her. She is devoted to an everlasting life of peace. And that's my piece. Up next to our mic, to bless our mic again, is Brenda. Brenda blessed our mic with another piece.
Thank you. I'm going to read a piece that's fairly new. It's not in my book. Um, Everyone sharing new pieces is giving me courage. So thank you for and the beautiful water imagery in several of the pieces I've been hearing is calling this one out that I almost forgot I had. It's called "The Beauty of My Seas," and I'll include it in my the slowly constructed second book of poetry that will eventually arrive. So this is for Alma. The beauty of my seas. As I arrive at this precipice, as I leave behind what no longer serves, as I shed the old skin of my past lives, I ask Spirit for illumination, guidance, and direction. Even when courage may falter, I ask for stubborn strength and protection, the one that only a mother knows, the mother I have been. Remind me to hold tight to the strange faith of my youth, the one that trusted and jumped, the one that sings truly Eme aquí. Help me remember who I am at my core, who I have been in the drowning waters, and who I am becoming as I look steadily toward the sun's graceful movement. Help me remember the moon in her fragmentation, to release, rest, and move slow, to trust that her magnetic pull affects the ocean waters. Even though I am weary, I can bloom and grow. Grant me the deep compassion of the dolphin, protector of these waters. No matter the depths I am called to dive, the murky cold below, I have the capacity to plunge deeper still and trust where I will go. Remind me that it is okay to come up for air, to bask in the sunlight of to bask in the light of the sunshine, to frolic and play in the mist of the daily grind. Grant me the same spirit that sparks in the dullest heart an abiding joy and a smile in spite of ourselves. Help me to smile in spite of myself. I call back my power to me. Every time I let myself go, let myself hide, or let myself be silenced, I set myself free. I call my deepest self to awaken and take my place in the beauty of my seas. Thank you.
Beautiful. I call my peace back to me. That was such a beautiful line, such a great poem. Thank you so much for that, Brenda. Up next to the mic is Spoken Truth. Bless our mic again, sir.
Uh, so I said I was a storyteller. Um, would you like to hear How to Find Happiness? I Grew Up on PBS or Falling Upwards?
I grew up on PBS.
All right. Let's begin. Peace. I grew up on PBS. As a kid, my family didn't have much growing up, but we did have public broadcasting. I would sit there and watch the screen and imagine, yes, imagine a different life. We didn't have cable or satellite, and our vacations were only as far as public transportation would take us. So I sat there and absorbed all the information I could glean, watching the electric company, Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street, this old house, Bob Ross creating happy little trees, reading Rainbow, the Magic School Bus, the various amounts of cooking shows, and how to DIY. I was always amazed by the Masterclass series and how these amazing creators got to be the person they were. The fundraisers were interesting, but I enjoyed the orchestras more than anything. Bill Nye the Science Guy, Schoolhouse Rocks, and Nova took the cake. As I got older, my life was nothing, no, nothing like I saw on the screen. I couldn't find Big Bird or the Cookie Monster, and all I seemed to run into was Oscar the Grouches as I got older. No Super Grovers or Elmos appeared, and there weren't too many happy little trees. I felt like I had made a mistake somewhere and definitely took a wrong turn into the feeding cage of Jack Hanna's animal show before they were put on the screen. I found myself lost for many years, and then one day I decided to make a change. I took a right, yes, a right, at Mr. Rogers' house instead of the left that put me down this road. I saw the familiar face of Snuffleupagus and continued down Sesame Street, guided by the reading rainbow, and paused at the completed old house. I finally found those happy little trees and grabbed a meal from Julia Child. The electric company finished the streetlights just as Miss Frizzle was pulling up to take me the rest of the way. The Kratz brothers waved and showed me the animals weren't so scary, and the count, yes, the count, gave me the numbers I needed to subtract where I went wrong. Now I write books, appear in films, create my own artwork, own my own brands, and I'm building, yes, building a better future for those that see me now. I get to perform all over the country with the sound of my voice and the imagination PBS instilled in me as a kid. My family didn't have much growing up, but we did, yes, we did have public broadcasting. And because of those hours, yes, hours spent in front of the screen, I am here to tell you my dreams in peace. So, Miss Whit.
Thank you so much for that piece. Going back down childhood
I
memory.
know. I know. I was really like, I know all these characters. I
Yeah,
love that. I
we
love
do have
that.
a lot of grouches. Yes. That was really nice. Thank you so much for that piece. Up next to Bless Our Mic is Celine. Bless Our Mic with another piece.
Okay, so I'm gonna do one that I wrote in dedication to my mom. She had passed away last year. So, so my next book will be dedicated whenever it's done. It will be dedicated to her. Okay, so this is one of the pieces. It's entitled Mama Said. Mama once said, be kind to him. For his journeys in life were different. She said, put yourself in his shoe, assuming that his past also happened to you. She said, allow your words to feel like cool water on his skin on hot days when he has been scorched while trekking in this wilderness. Mama reminded me to show him respect, remembering that he is our father who caused our birth. Yes, Mama knew that he is and has always had the tendency of being an asshole. Mama said, when I go off, it is my timer of 46 years of dealing with this shit, but I do love this man. He is not only my husband or the father of my children, he is the one who has kept me in his embrace throughout love's lifetime. But as she speaks, in my head, I think that a lifetime has to have a limit or boundaries. If you don't know what a limit is, an expiration date, when the heart says, I can't take any more of the selfishness. I said, Mom, once upon a time, he was my example of what a man should be. Every man that approached me, I imagined him to be like my father. He he had to exemplify qualities I found in my father, like be patient, kind in both word and deed, not saying one thing but going to do his own thing, a protector of my soul, someone who puts me first in all things, not pretending so perfectly that he's unable to see his own imperfections. He was the one who taught me that I'm a rare stone, stunning in form, and anyone who taught otherwise wasn't deserving of my heart. And it's not that I do not believe it, but how different it would have been if he held on to me like he also did. Mom, I will never settle for less than what I was taught. And I will never take in my lifetime what he has never given me. And I'm starting with the man that caused my birth.
Beautiful piece. Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for that piece. Take it back. Take it back. Up next to bless our mic again is Romaine.
Okay. I am getting healed as I'm listening to each of the poems and poets here. And if you see me wiggling, it's stuff coming off my shoulders and just being wrapped in just, the love from your words and the images. Thank you. This is a real reading. So this is called Sacrament, and this is from my book, Sirens in Her Belly. Roosevelt sells fresh fruit on the corner, wears a suit and bow tie, straight lines, no creases. 90-degree summer, 20-degree winter, he sells pies. Roosevelt is there as sure as the stoplight. Each morning, drive by to see his stark white shirt and teeth like clouds in sky, invite me to gaze and dream. His eyes a hello of good morning. I must break even against the green go of traffic. How much? I ask. His hands full of ripe garden grown. $2. He dangles breakfast before me, and I feel as though we are Adam and Eve, and this is every good tree right here on this corner. Roosevelt is good, and I am good. God is good. The fruit is good. The homeless are waking from their benches. I can hear the cry of rusted shopping carts as though I were throwing money in a wishing well. I tell Roosevelt to feed someone who needs it. He says, I always do. Thrust an armful in my car. Serious, smile unchanged. No words, but his eyes say, take, eat. It has been given up for you. I bow my head and drive away.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that poem, that piece.
Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
nice.
It's back on you, Fly High. Bless our mic. Before that, please, out there in Unportry World, like, share, and subscribe. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, we're here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And now it's showing you, Fly High.
Okay, I just wanted to ask real quick. Are we doing 4 rounds or 3?
This is the third one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, 3. Do
3.
you want to do 4?
Low key, but it's fine. Whatever y'all want to do, I'm
No,
cool
it's
with
up to the poets. If you guys want to do 4 rounds, I'm here. Whatever you guys want to do.
it. Okay. So this one I'm taking it in a little different direction. It's called Pussy Power. On my back, I lay holding myself tightly as I reminisce on all we've been through, remembering how deeply connected we are. Pussy is power, and I am reclaiming mine. As I send reminders of our connection, her petals unfold themselves for me. My fingers find her warm and encouraging. She calls for me to explore the fullness of her. I oblige, realizing I am, for the first time, finally experiencing the garden of me. For far too long, I have held the pleasure of others above my own, but this time is different. I can feel how empowered she is. She reacts to my every flutter, urging me to dive in deeper. I call her in closer, asking her to grab a hold of this, her moment to shine. She invites me to sing songs of liberation to her, and before too long we celebrate as she thanks me with her drizzling all over my fingers.
Okay, woo! Taking back your power.
Valentine's Day coming.
Okay. Brenda, you got something to top that? Or Lolly?
I don't know if I can top that. I mean, that was pretty intense in its own way. I mean, loved
Yes.
it though. Pussy power. I am about
Yes.
it.
Love it. Lolly, the mic is back on you. Bless her mic.
All right. So this next poem you may have already seen if you follow me on social media. It just came out this week, and this one is called Stop. I am just taking one step at a time, struggling to get through this life of mine, and I am certainly not at my prime. But there's always room for improvement, so where do I draw the line? There's always something to do and someone to see. A never ending to do list to avoid spending time with me. Because then I'd have to actually see the horrible mess that I've made, the constant procrastination of the plans I laid, and I just want my next fix, so I'll stare off into Netflix and watch my dreams fade. I mean, with the amount of time people spend watching television, you'd think it was the human mission, and I want to make a better decision. What am I actually avoiding? You see, my choices have patterned my brain this way to sit on the couch and waste every day staring at a screen, losing sight of what life would actually mean if I stopped. Stopped saying there's too little time and too much stuff, or I can't move forward today because I'm not enough. Stopped. Stopped losing myself in an endless sea of strife and started making the decision to build a better life.
Yes. I watched that. I follow your social media. I
Thank
watched
you.
it a couple of times. I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. Next up to our mic. Bringing it back to you, Brenda. Bless her mic.
Okay. Vulnerability poetry, pussy power poetry. This one's for you, Fly High. Shadows Without Shame. I wasn't planning to read this one. It's the first poem in Riot of Roses. It's got a little bit of a bite. In my most sultry tones, I am innocent. In other ways, I'm a total slut. I mean that in the most respectful of ways. I get my whoring from the men in my family. If there's one thing you learn from the patriarchy, is that sexuality and this body don't mean shit. Like it can actually be slam bam, thank you, ma'am. I mean, sir, como duele. The tío who had a whole other family, both for sons named after himself. What a farce. Like, si todavía me amas como antes, ya nada me parece interesante. Yo sé que en el amor soy un farsante, yo sin ti no vuelvo a enamorarme, bebé. when you do not value yourself, when you do not think you are enough. You begin to overcompensate by believing you are the shit like everybody wants you. El primo, in the middle of divorce, reaching for straws in love, was joking that a cachetada is all you need to keep your vieja in her place. Always seeking the next horizon, not even comfortable having an empty bed for a few short months, which I know feels like eons. There is nothing heavier than the emptiness of a bed than when your lover leaves you. I know what that's about. Spent so many times alone. For a long time, it was fine. I was getting to know myself, licking my wounds, changing the dressing, taking mariachi classes with La Sonia at the School of Arts and Culture in San Jose, cantando Paloma Negra, ¿dónde andarás? But then came the days when the emptiness loomed large, said boo in the dark, and scared me more than a little. On those nights I sought solace, solace with the promise of a kindred, solace with the passion of thirst quenched, solace with the relief of an escaped arrest. There were times it was sheer biological need, my assertion on this earth plane that I'm still here. Nothing twisted about it, purely physical, just need, like hunger, rest, or defecation. At other times it was a self-mutilation, trying to understand the original wound, the one that defies language. Some things, all they can do is sit. Bring it to a boil, mommy says. Lower it and let it stew. Better left unsaid and set loose on the wind. In those moments with moon high in sky and sun well below, I could see my shadows without shame. I could taste the anxious bile wet on my lips. I could smell the stench, putrid and rotting. I could feel brave enough to sit and stare until the truth glides into focus. See myself standing there, vulnerable and innocent, if even for a moment. Poem. Thank you.
Woo! Okay. I'll see you, Brenda.
You better speak on it, Brenda. Come on.
Hey,
I love that. I
Pussy
love
power.
that.
That's right.
Yes. Up next to the mic is Spoken Truth. Bless our mic again.
So next month is Black History Month. I think I put in there that I was an activist. So I have a piece for that called Broken Clock. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my city, Toledo, Ohio. Love y'all, 419 Mud Made, Glass City Strong. This piece is called Broken Clock. Let's begin. Peace. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? My grandmother's generation, the oldest I can remember, spent her entire life, yes, her entire life, moving on up from the east side, trying to find the high rise, but the elevator was broken. Only specific folk could move to the express line and have all, yes, all their dreams fulfilled. You know, the ones with the sought after skin, silky hair, and had a long, yes, long history of oppression behind those contracted lies. The ones whose dream is to succeed, but only, yes, only off the backs of others. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? Our grandparents and great grandparents sacrificed everything, yes, everything for their plot of land, knowing how valuable it is to have something to call your own. and can pass down to future generations. No matter what sacrifices they had to make, they were building, yes, building for a better future. Now no one owns nothing but debt and the shiny things they can buy to fill the hole of owning nothing, except something, yes, something that can be taken away if you don't get your last paycheck. How have we become so lost, accepting handouts from the very same people that see us as numbers and the calculatable items at the end of the year to raise the price of everything? You trust no one, but you trust them. The very same organizations, governments, political parties, nonprofits, and subsidies that keep your blocks broken until it's time for re-election or a new survey. It's a new survey to come through to find out what plots have been given up on. We tear down everyone, yes, everyone that tries to build for themselves by discounting them to death and asking for a handout from people who barely have all the gear they need to reach the top. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up? You don't need to be led to know how to follow. But we've been conditioned to think that if we don't grab everything for ourselves, when they throw us the scraps back to us off the hard work, yes, the hard work we put in to build our communities, we're the ones that failed. How much longer are you willing to just survive and struggle, leaving future generations with less and less? Because we only give when we're told to, take at every opportunity, and leave nothing, no, nothing but scorched earth. How many leaders have to die or be broken? And community funded organizational startups or stomped to the ground by big organizations who see the block as another item they can control, with the subsidies that they lobby through PAC funding, defunding, and gerrymandering of districts for generations of traumatic loss for the youth. If you cared, you'd start researching the resources that mattered, the ones that they programmed you to believe only serve them. You'd start seeking out grassroots farmers, reaching out to people who don't need the attention of the spotlight because we're too busy doing the work. You'd start investing, yes, investing and spending your own dollars in your own communities instead of trapping out the few resources your ancestors left you. My grandmother's generation was so focused, just so focused on moving on up from the east side that they left their land, yes, their land for a high rise, creating a generational curse for my mother that I now have to break the chains of. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up instead of building, yes, building our communities ourselves in peace?
So good. I just loved that.
Good. Yes.
Mute that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up to bless our mic is Celine.
I just want you guys to know, by the way, mad pieces. Right, beautiful pieces. Okay, so my next piece is called Inception's Love. So this was inspired by the movie Inception. So I hope you guys like it. Inception made love to me. He intentionally but intensely inserted feelings never felt before, created dreams I've never seen before, but rated them as beautiful, although pain skillfully weaved itself between us, bringing me close to death, but insisting on taking me further beyond the orgasmic realm of what I thought was my limit. Inception said I have no limits. Assuming that my brain needs rewiring, he intercepted my wakefulness, allowing me to go deeper into my dreams, 3 levels more than what was normal for me. He, knowing I could die, even if my love for what is lost is much deeper than being free, but still he watched as I defined love's odds with subconscious after subconscious, back to being conscious again, more than just once, to a place that feels like prison. Realities of this life has me yearning for something that is found only within dreams, but perfect enough to live in. It is for this reason Inception became so addictive, killing me softly but with no song. Still I eagerly listened, made up words and a tune, telling myself that this song, our sex life, would be different. But only in my sleep do I come off the pain of my experiences. His masturbating technique has my deep thoughts penetrating the subconscious, the same as deep thought making him lyrical. Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate. So Inception said, as he raised me back from subconscious to subconscious to subconscious to me becoming conscious of only my surroundings, that I would awaken and think that I did something for real, allowing me to dig and reach not always too high, but more importantly, beyond my mind's eyes where only a limited number survive. And I'd wonder why that I crave to take this leap, eagerly rushing to sleep, but still very much awake as I dream in the world of Inception.
Thank you so much for that piece.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I wish we could do another round, but it's getting really late in Q's on the East Coast. But I want to make sure I leave an open invitation for all of you beautiful poets to come back whenever you want. Just send me a message when you're available. We're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. You guys, when the credits roll, stay on so we can have a short conversation after. But I do appreciate each and every one of you here, and I do want you to meet our other host, Ebony Flo. She's a wonderful poet, and she is our closer and mic dropper, and we love her here. She brings great energy, and we miss her tonight. In her words, what she always say is, "We want to bring a voice to the voiceless." So I just want you guys to remember that you always have a home here. Your guys are always welcome here. If you guys want to just do a pop up or do something different, we can also share this space again with you guys. And I really appreciate your pieces. You guys were all beautiful tonight. And we're going to end it tonight. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tune in every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. And myself, Miss Drea the Poet, and Ebb and Flow, thank you guys for joining us. Have a great night. Stay on, guys. Don't log off.